Dear Arsenal have driven the price up as £10 million plus deal agreed. A statement of intent from the Emirates. Dear Arsenal supporters, once again, Arsenal Football Club have shown that they are no longer a passive participant in the transfer market. The days of being bullied into selling cheap, negotiating from a position of weakness, or allowing rivals to dictate value appear to be firmly behind us. Recent reports suggesting that Arsenal have driven the price up in negotiations, culminating in a £10 million plus deal being agreed, represent far more than a routine piece of transfer business. They signal a deeper transformation in how this club operates, how it is perceived, and how it protects its future. This is not just a story about money. It is a story about control, respect, and ambition. For years, Arsenal were labeled as a selling club, a team that developed talent only to watch it leave for cut-price fees, or worse still, for free. That reputation damaged the club's standing across Europe and weakened its bargaining power in negotiations. But under Mikel Arteta and the current sporting leadership, Arsenal have rewritten that narrative. When clubs now come knocking, they do so knowing they will have to pay a premium. And this latest £10 million plus agreement proves exactly that. A shift in Arsenal's transfer identity. To understand why this deal matters, we must look at where Arsenal were not so long ago. There was a time when Arsenal would accept modest fees, simply to reduce wage bills or avoid losing players for nothing. Contracts ran down, leverage disappeared, and selling clubs dictated terms. That era is over. Arsenal now operate with clarity and conviction. Players are tied down to longer contracts. Asset value is protected. Negotiations are deliberate, patient, and firm. When another club shows interest, Arsenal do not panic. They set their price and wait. Reports that Arsenal have driven the price up suggest something critical. The buying club needed this deal more than Arsenal needed to sell. That is the strongest position any club can have. Why the £10 million plus deal is significant. At first glance, £10 million might not sound extraordinary in a market where £80 million and £100 million transfers dominate headlines, but context matters. This deal reportedly involves a player who is not a guaranteed starter, yet Arsenal have still managed to extract a fee exceeding £10 million. That alone reflects smart squad planning. Selling fringe or rotational players for meaningful sums allows the club to reinvest without weakening the core of the team. More importantly, Arsenal did not settle for the first offer. The phrase "driven the price up" implies multiple rounds of talks, Arsenal standing their ground, and the buying club eventually conceding to Arsenal's valuation. That is power. Arteta's influence behind the scenes. Mikel Arteta's influence in this evolution cannot be overstated. While fans often judge managers purely on results and tactics, Arteta has had a profound impact on Arsenal's culture, discipline, and long-term planning. Arteta is ruthless when it comes to standards. Players who do not fit the project are moved on, but crucially, they are moved on at the right time. The club no longer waits until contracts are running down or performances decline. Decisions are proactive, not reactive. This £10 million plus deal reflects that approach. The player involved has value now, and Arsenal have cashed in at the correct moment. Driving the price up, what it really means. When reports say Arsenal drove the price up, it suggests several things. Strong initial valuation, Arsenal set a high starting point. Multiple interested clubs, competition increases leverage. No desperation to sell, Arsenal were prepared to walk away. Clear communication. The buying club understood the terms. In previous years, Arsenal often lacked at least two of these elements. Now they have all four. This is how elite clubs operate. Financial discipline meets ambition. Arsenal's owners have often been criticized, sometimes fairly, sometimes unfairly, but in recent seasons, the club has struck a far better balance between spending and sustainability. Selling well is just as important as buying smartly. This £10 million sale contributes directly to financial fair play compliance, squad renewal, and future investment. It allows Arsenal to pursue priority targets without overextending resources. Every successful sale strengthens Arsenal's position in negotiations for incoming players. In simple terms, selling well helps you buy better. What this means for future transfers. This deal sets a precedent. Other clubs will take note. They will know that Arsenal are not a soft touch. If they want an Arsenal player, even one on the fringes, they must pay a fair price. That changes everything. It means Arsenal can now Sell squad players without weakening, reinvest strategically, retain key stars without financial pressure, build depth without bloating wages. This is how elite clubs are constructed. A message to rivals. There is also a psychological element to this story. Arsenal's rivals are watching. Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and others are well aware that Arsenal are no longer rebuilding, they are competing. When Arsenal negotiates strongly and secure £10 million plus fees for non-essential players, it reinforces the idea that this club belongs at the top table. Respect in football is earned not just on the pitch, but in boardrooms. The fans deserve this progress. For Arsenal supporters, this deal should be welcomed and celebrated. It represents years of frustration finally giving way to competence and vision. Fans who endured losing stars cheaply, watching contracts expiring, and seeing poor squad planning now have evidence that lessons have been learned. Arsenal are acting like a serious football institution again. Looking ahead, the bigger picture. This £10 million plus agreement is unlikely to be the last. Arsenal's squad contains several valuable assets, and with Champions League football and strong performances, those values will only increase. The club is now in a position where it can choose when to sell, who to sell, and for how much. That is a luxury Arsenal could not always enjoyed. Conclusion: more than just a transfer. In isolation, this is a simple transfer story, but in reality, it is much more. It is a symbol of Arsenal's evolution. It is proof of improved leadership. It is evidence of financial intelligence. And it is a warning to the rest of Europe. Arsenal will not be bullied. Arsenal will not undersell. Arsenal will not compromise their future. Driving the price up and securing a £10 million plus deal is not arrogance. It is ambition backed by strategy. And for Arsenal Football Club, this is